Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. It is Saturday morning, and I feel like there's no better way to start my day than with a podcast. I have a lot of things to discuss today. I have a lot of random stories I feel like telling. I have some questions from IG, some questions from Tumblr, and it's gonna be great. So I hope you guys are having a good weekend. Yesterday was one of those days where I felt like so good all day. I was productive. I was socializing out in the world, and then I was I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna make plans. Maybe I'll go out tonight. I go home. All my tiredness hits me at once, and then it was 6 p.m. I was well, I took a nap, woke up, made food, went back to sleep. Kind of, it's I was gonna say I played myself, but it was just if I want to sleep, I was fine. Yeah, so I was dude, I know I feel I talk about the fucking metro in every single podcast, but just I always have the best, so much content happens there. So yesterday I had to go somewhere, and it was super duper far, and the metro, there wasn't even a bus that went. So I was okay, I'll take the train to as far as I can take it, and then Uber from there, so just to save time and save that coin, So I'm getting out of the Uber, and the Uber driver's oh my god, the whole time he's telling me about his divorce, and then he's telling me about how he's scared to drive in certain areas, and I was okay, you're Uber, so also why are you telling me this, what? That's Uber drivers, why do they, some of them tell you their whole life story, or it's I didn't ask, but they try to justify why they're an Uber driver. It's bro, no, I don't, I need this service. I'm glad that you're doing this. I don't care that you're he's I'm just really, my divorce was just really hard on me, and I'm just trying to make money for my kids. But he's it was just weird. It was okay. So then he's oh my god, you're taking the metro? You're way braver than me. Oh my god, I would never do that. And I was just okay. Yeah, but I've had Ubers in the past. It's so interesting in LA, especially because a lot of people they'll move here to pursue whatever, modeling, acting, whatever, and then it's hard to obviously just make it and start making a living off of that if you just move here randomly. So a lot of people will do jobs Uber and stuff, and I don't think it just makes sense. Yeah, you gotta pay bills, you have to make money. That's just unfortunately how society's set up. But a lot of people, they'll be oh my god, so what do you do? And I'm okay, whatever. I kind of tell them, and then they're well, I'm an actor, I'm just so passionate about this, but I only do this, I'm only doing this month, I'm just doing this. It's dude, I don't care. So I don't know. And also just, it's so interesting because I was talking about this in the last podcast, and after I finished recording that, I was just on Twitter, back on my bullshit, reading tweets, and there was a thread, not a thread, but just kind of some people were talking about the law of attraction and how it's not, it's just kind of unrealistic and perpetuates this idea that rich people are rich because of their mindset. And although I feel that's true in some conditions, obviously there's so many examples of people coming from nothing and still making money or being successful or whatever, quote unquote successful. It's whatever, what does that even mean? And that poor people are poor just because of how they're thinking, and it's not. So that's kind of where I hesitate in talking about this, because again, in the previous podcast I was kind of talking about this and talking about privilege, and it's I don't know, it's not just about your mindset, because there's just so many other factors that go into it, and so many oppressed groups, and it's you're not just dealing with oh my god, well, you didn't think abundantly enough. It's no, you're a minority, you're an oppressed person, obviously you can just think your way out of that. So I don't know, it's where do you draw the line, I guess, because on one hand, positivity and all of that, it's never going to hold you back. I feel you know, the only way to like change your life is to believe in yourself. And, you know, if you don't believe in yourself, it's like, where are you gonna go? But at the same time, it's like you can't just tell someone like, oh, well, sorry, because it's like you're dealing with different circumstances and different, like, yeah, it's like, ew. And that's just, again, I don't want to like reiterate what I said in the last podcast, but just like all these like white, kind of like wealthy, privileged vegans, that's part of the reason why I like don't really fuck with that anymore, because it just perpetuates this idea of like, oh, well, you know, it's free, blessed, oh my god, things just come to me so easily. It's like, yeah, you're like pretty, you're like an attractive person who has very little against them in society, and you're like here talking about how like, oh my god, it's just, you guys get it. You get it, you know? So I don't know. But yeah, anyway, what was I even talking about? I was talking about the metro. I don't know how I got on that tangent, but I have another metro story. Let me take a sip of cold brew, okay? Anyway, ew. I swear to God, there's like so much pollution in the air, and like my nose wants to like I always am like, you know? Ew, and there's so much like construction everywhere. It's like, is this like healthy for me to be breathing? I don't think so. But then so I get in the metro or whatever, and then there's these like, imagine like your typical Midwest just like people. Like there's these two women, and then I think they're two kids. They look to be like besties going on a little vacay, and they just like so, like it's just, it was so funny. It was just like such a comedic situation. They're like so obviously like not from LA. Like they have like on a lot of makeup, and like they're like pretty and like wearing like these dresses, but it's like they're not, this isn't like LA, you know what I mean? Like they're not like full beat, like they're like full bright pink lipstick, if you get the vibe. And they're like, they come up to me and they're like, oh my god, we love your eyelashes, like where did you get them? And I was like, oh, they're eyelash extensions, like thanks. Like they were super super sweet, but just so you get the vibe. And they were like, oh my god, yeah, we've heard of those. And I was like, oh yeah, like they're really, I really love them, like, you know, I can look cute when I wake up, look cute at the gym. They're like, oh my god, we totally get it. And they're like, do you know how the metro works? Because like we really just can't figure it out, and we're trying to get to the wax museum because we just really want to see it. We road tripped here. And I was like, oh yeah, like they were just like so sweet, and like it was so refreshing on so many levels, because like they were just so pure. They just wanted to see the wax museum. And I was like, oh yeah, you just like take this train and then you get off here, and it's like basically right there. Like, it's like you can't miss it. And then we were just chatting, and they were like, oh, do you like live here? Like, oh, are you going to school here or something? And I was like, oh no, I just like work and stuff. And they asked me what I do, and then they were like, oh my god, like the daughter was like, oh my god, I love YouTube, I love watching vlogs. And I was like, yeah, like I do vlogs. She was like, I love James Charles. And I was like, yeah, like great. And so then they like, I don't think there was like service, but she was like, oh, like screenshot your name and we'll look you up. And they were just so nice, and like I hope they just like enjoy the rest of the vacay, because like it was just a great interaction. Especially on one hand, it's like, okay, like it's refreshing to just talk to people who aren't like trying to finesse you, if you know what I'm saying. Because like, I don't know, a lot of people, it's like the rumors are true, a lot of people here just like want to talk to you when they need something, and they were just like so pure and wholesome. And then also just being on the metro, it was nice to like talk to someone who doesn't want to have sex with you. Dude, it's like, I'm sure you can relate if you're, honestly, if you're anyone, but it's just like, can men stop looking at me? And I'm not even saying that, and like I'll be like I'm not looking cute. I was literally wearing like a huge jacket covering my whole body, like track pants that were not form-fitting, like not, and like dirty sneakers, and like no makeup, and like my hair's up, and I have sunglasses and my headphones and my backpack. Like it's not a cute look, like, and men are still like, hey. It's like, Oh my god, like, what? I really don't get it. And it's just like, stop. Like, it's just like, I feel uncomfortable going anywhere. Which, like, that's not gonna stop me. Like, you just kind of have to, I guess, get used to it. But, oh my god, it's like, fuck off. Sorry. Just had to go on a little rant. But it's like, can you just, like, not, like, I mean, it's usually, like, fine, chill, whatever. It's just, like, I'm just, like, don't look at me. I don't look at them. So leave me alone. I need to see my laptop. Okay, so I have some questions from Instagram, actually. Let's take a gander. Okay. Being spiritual without overdoing it, overwhelming yourself, or separating yourself from others. I think I've talked about this before. Oh my god, also someone was like, you talk about the law of attraction in every podcast, and I'm sick of it. And I was like, okay, well, until people stop asking me about it, I'll keep talking about it. Like, I get more questions about it than I do people telling me to shut up, so what do you want me to do? But yeah, I just feel like spirituality, it's not something to, like, separate yourself from your life or, like, whatever. It's, like, to improve your life. So if you're meditating every day, that makes the rest of your life easier and, like, better. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something to take you out of your life. It's something to put you more into your life and make you more present in your current circumstances. Like, it's not like these two separate things. It's like your life, and then, like, spirituality just kind of goes, like, what's up? Like, it's not like this separate thing that, like, masks it or, like, whatever. Does that make sense? But yeah, like, your life should improve. I don't know. For me, I feel like that. I feel like when I believe in something, and I feel like the more I get into spirituality, the more you kind of realize, like, how similar, just, like, every religion is, and how it kind of makes sense that people, like, I don't know, because if you don't have that connection, it kind of is like, but, like, if you're like, oh, the universe, it's kind of like, oh, a God, and, like, having faith in God, or, like, believing in the universe, and, like, I don't know, it just makes a lot more sense to me now, and I can see, I don't know, I feel like it just makes me more understanding of other people's beliefs. Not that I was, like, not understanding before, but I mean, sort of, just, like, why would you believe that? I don't know, I wasn't, like, really raised religious or anything, so I was always just kind of, like, WID, but in believing in the universe and just kind of, like, I don't know, believing in, like, oh, it's a sign, or, like, oh, it's, like, haha, I love it, make a wish, StellaSponge.com. But it's kind of like, oh, like, I kind of get it. I get where people are coming from, and it kind of does make you, it kind of puts you at ease, like, being like, okay, like manifest, like, say a prayer, you know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, like, spirituality, or, you know, if you're religious, whatever, it's just something to, like, improve your life, and not be separate from your life, and, like, I don't know, does that make sense? So, yeah, makes sense to me. Sometimes I'm like, am I explaining myself well enough? Oh my god, this is a really funny question, and also I want to talk about this because it's Pride Month, bitch. LA Pride is on tomorrow, so Sanja and I might go. Super excited. Okay, so this girl says, I am repulsed by boys my age. Does that mean I'm a lesbian? I literally see 17, 18, 19-year-old boys and gag. What the fuck is wrong with me? LOL. So, like, I feel this, but I don't know. I feel like, just do what you feel. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to like anyone. But also, I guess where I'm, like, thinking just with myself, like, there's the majority of men I'm disgusted by, but there's still some select ones that, like, I'd smash, you know what I mean? So I guess it's about finding, like, your preference, but then also, like, yeah, maybe you don't like any, and, like, that's fine too, and maybe you like girls, maybe you don't even like girls, like, anything is fine, but it's not like there's nothing wrong with you. Like, she says, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, ew, like, have you seen 17 through 19-year-old boys? Like, yeah, what's wrong with them, okay? No shade. No shade to all the chads out there, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I just think, like, especially, I mean, throughout your whole life, it's fine to like experiment and like see what you like and what you don't like, but especially like, I don't know, your teens, your 20s, like that's the time when it's at a peak, I feel like, because you're like just kind of like discovering what these things are, and like you can do that. And I feel like I'm just learning more and more that like there's so much that you can almost like get away with, if you know what I'm saying. Like we're so confined by these social rules and like things that we thought growing up, but like none of that really exists, you know what I mean? Like we kind of just create that in our minds and live our lives by that, but you can kind of just like do whatever you want. It's like, who cares? Like what's that, like, I think it's from like a show or something, but she's like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. That's what the government's doing. Okay, right. Oh, like what the fuck. So that would be my answer, but there's nothing wrong with you, and you can like whoever you like and be disgusted. If you're disgusted by someone, it's just your body, your soul telling you to leave. Leave the situation. Ooh, this says doing a video, but I guess I'll kind of talk about it right now. She says, have you ever done a video about living in LA without a car or a license? LOL, me. Everyone I know who lives here says it's impossible, but you've been doing it for over a year. How? Dude, it's like, I don't know what people think. Like, have you heard of the Metro? Have you heard of Uber? Like, the first year that I lived here, pretty much, I didn't even know about the Metro, really. Like, I knew there was buses, but I didn't really know about the Metro at all. Like, Sony and I took it once. I mean, towards the end of, it was really like the first 6 months. Because then I was like, oh, duh. And then we started, like, doing it. But, yeah, like, dude, the Metro goes everywhere. There's Ubers if it doesn't go everywhere. There's Lyft. There's, if you live, like it's a city, if you live in an area, you can walk somewhere. Like, I don't know. There's just so many options. And it's like, ew, especially like you have to pay extra for parking in your apartment. Like if I had a car right now, I would have to pay $200 extra a month in rent just to park my car. And it's like, dude, I'm not going to fucking do that. Like, ew, fuck off. Like, it's just annoying. And I don't know. I feel like maybe if I was commuting to a job every day, but even then, it's like so many people do that and take the Metro, take a bus, like whatever. But I think I would be maybe more inclined, but I don't. So it's like when I do need to go somewhere, I can just like not like take an Uber, like take a train. Like it's so fucking easy. People are so fucking dumb. Oh, you're so much braver than me. It's like, no, what? It's like the easiest shit ever. Like what? Okay. Jesus. Okay. This girl says, Stella, I need your advice. Basically, I've been going to college for the last 2 years in Dublin. I grew up in Longford, which is like the Midlands and in the middle of nowhere. I've always moved back home for the summer. I have to go home at the weekends because I feel super homesick and I hate my house, etc. I love Dublin. I'm like saying that right? Because I feel like, is that like how you say it, or is that like how a white American would say it? I don't know. I thought you were American. I love it, but I still feel homesick. Do you have any advice as how to not get homesick? Dude, that's like rough, but I don't know. I feel like maybe you're still in the mindset that you don't like belong there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, oh, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. Like, this isn't where home is. But I don't know, what for me, what works in situations like that, or if I'm like traveling and I feel kind of homesick, it's like you can always like FaceTime, message, whatever, your family or your friends, and then also just being like, okay, this is like part of the adventure right now, you know, like I'm having this experience, I can always go back home and like I'm just gonna enjoy this and see what happens. Maybe like switching your mindset instead of like thinking, oh my god, like I just want to be home, like, because dude, it's like I feel you on that. Sometimes you just like want to be where it's familiar and you want to be like, you know, like where your family is, but I don't know, maybe thinking of it more as like an adventure and like part of the experience, like, oh, what's gonna happen, like why am I here, like what am I gonna learn from this experience? That always like helps me. So just a thought, but you know, at the same time, like yeah, she says like she moves back home for the summer. Like, you will be there soon enough, you know? So that's what I would do, is just try to, like, enjoy and see just, like, what happens, yeah. My advice to you. Thank you very much. Okay, last one. Oh my god. So sorry, y'all. Dude, someone was, like, making fun of what I was wearing in the last podcast, and I was like, dude, like, you really think I'm here right now? If you're watching the video, what's up? Do you think this is my look cute hour? This is my info hour, okay? If you want to see look cute hour, go to my IG. Like, I don't know what to tell you. StellaSange.com. No, I'm wearing a hydrate tee. Okay, so this girl says, I just want some advice related to finding friends. I have my boyfriend who I love spending time with, but for some reason I still feel a little lonely and want friends like the people you surround yourself with. How do I go about finding these kinds of people? I'm finding it quite hard. Dude, I don't know, because I honestly feel like I have, like, one friend. But I would say just, like, being yourself, and just, like, I think another thing that I've been realizing is just, like, putting yourself out there. Like, I don't know, I'm very inclined to just, like, stay home and edit a video and, like, go work out and then, like, hang out at home and then, like, hang out at home and, like, maybe go on my roof and then, like, go back. But I'm like, oh my god, like, I have so many interactions with people if I just, like, step out, if I, like, go to a coffee shop to work, if I go to a different part of town to, like, go on a walk, or, like, yeah, go eat, go get a coffee. Like, you can't, I mean, I don't know what you do, but I know for me, I'm just so inclined to do that just because it's like, oh, I don't want to go all the way there just to, like, work on my laptop. But it's like, you never know who you're going to run into, who you're going to meet, like, what's going to happen. And that's not going to happen if you're just at home all the time doing the same shit, going to the same places over and over. So I think it's about, like, breaking out of your routine and just putting yourself in situations. Like, you have to ask yourself, where would my ideal friends be? Like, what kind of people do I want to be attracting? Or you say you have a boyfriend, but for anyone listening who, like, wants to attract someone, like, a relationship, you have to ask yourself, where would this person be right now? And, like, go to places like that. Like, are they at a bar? Are they at a coffee shop? Are they at a vegan restaurant? Like, those are the places you have to go. And I am mostly saying this just because I need to hear this and remember this. But yeah, I had kind of a busy week this week, just of, like, appointments and shit, like, random shit I had to go to. So I would, like, bring my laptop, and then after I got my hair done, I went to this coffee shop and just, like, sat there for a while, and then, like, walked around, and I'm just, like, by myself, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, like, see what happens. Then I'm, like, going home, and I'm like, wow, like, that was actually so fun, and I was just with myself, like, editing a video, and usually I just do that at home. But if I go out and, like, actually live life, even if I'm just kind of doing the same thing, like, editing on my computer, it's like, I don't know, it's just different, and puts you in a different mindset, because I just feel so different when I'm, like, somewhere versus if I'm just, like, at home. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But yeah, that would be my suggestion. But yeah, and also just know that things take time. Like, just because you don't have instant results right now with making friends, or your ideal body, your fitness goals, your dream career, your dream whatever, like, that doesn't mean you're not in the process of getting there. Like, everything's a process, and, like, I think we're just so used to, like, social media seeing, like, these instant results, or, like, everyone else is doing it but me. It's like, no, like, everyone's on their journey, and it's like a journey. It's not like a instant, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that would be my advice. That's kind of all I have to say, honestly, TBH, but hope you guys enjoyed this, kind of random, quirky, LOL. But DM me with any questions or topics you have, or hit me up on Tumblr. And yeah, send me a screenshot if you're listening to this. Thanks for listening. Love y'all.